Hey everyone, I'm Jovan D, and my whole life, my sister said I've had a big head. Does it look that big? But joke's on her, because today we're gonna give everyone a big head, not just me. It's gonna be Big Head Central up in here. And the goal of today's video is to make big heads not by putting things into Blender or changing the way that the geometry is. No, we're gonna do it all within Unreal. We're gonna do it all in just a couple minutes. It's gonna be super fast. We're gonna use a bunch of different types of meshes to do it with. It's gonna be easy. Get ready for that easiness. Anyone ever play GoldenEye before? I mean, I remember booting into multiplayer mode, having big heads unlocked, and just getting dome shots like all the time because shooting a big head is so much easier. And I've tested this out with physical animations in our project that we're going to be working on here, and the physical animations work how you'd expect them to. So if you want to make a big head in Unreal Engine, what you want to do is have an animation blueprint set up for one of your characters. And I have 3 characters here. We have the default mannequin character, the one that comes with basically every template in Unreal. It's super helpful to have. We have the Animan, because everyone likes the ALS project, Advanced Locomotion project. It's swell. It's a good project. So I have him in here. He's a little more advanced. You'll see that we have a few more options here. Like I can change, just one hand color because, I changed a little bit about him. He's using a texture atlas material instead of using, I think he had like 5 or 6 material slots before. Now he only has 1. And it's a little more useful, but that's for another day. And then we have a Mixamo character here because Mixamo, if you're not aware, is a super handy website where you can upload your own character models as long as they're humanoid. It'll automatically rig them for you and apply it's got to be hundreds of animations now. They have like a whole animation library, and you can just get them applied to your mesh that you've gone ahead and put onto their server. But you got to be careful. If you upload another mesh, it'll delete the first mesh that you uploaded, so then you got to upload again, blah, 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 and it's kind of annoying. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with our default. So I'm going to open up the default characters, animation blueprint, and we have a very simple anim graph. And if you have any mannequin character from any template, you're going to have this in the event graph. It's going to be getting, is he in the air? Well, what's his speed? All that's kind of irrelevant. What we need is the anim graph. We don't want the event graph. So what we need to do is, instead of just going directly to the output pose with our state machine, and our state machine is just like idle, walk, run, jump, and all that, we can still have all that. Let me go back to the anim graph. We can still have all that, but before we put that into the output pose, we're going to do a little something. First of all, we're going to go from local to component. Local to component. So boom. Now instead of going into the output pose, we're going into the local to component node here. So what that does is when you're in local, that's the entire applied animation. Local to component is going to go to a specific component within that animation. And we have to specify what component we want to affect with what we're going to do and all that. And we can do that in the next node by dragging off here. We can search for transform, modify bone. Boom. And in this node, it's going to ask us, hey, what bone do you want to modify? You're transforming a bone. What do you want to do? So I'm going to select one, and the one that I'm going to select is called the head. So whatever bone you want to modify, it's going to modify that bone and every bone in the chain underneath it. Luckily, I don't think there's anything in the chain underneath head. Yeah, it's just the end of its own chain. So it's only going to affect the head. And let's plug this back into the result. Now it's automatically going to convert from the component space to the local space. So that's nice. It's going to add the little node component to local here if you do that. Or you can drag off here, get component to local. It's the same thing. All right, let's compile and save. And it does nothing. In fact, it gives us a warning. Why is it giving us a warning? Because right now we're just ignoring everything that we're doing with the translation, the rotation, the scale mode. But we can change the scale pretty easily. So let's change the scale mode. Instead of ignoring it, we can replace the existing scale mode. And what do we want to change it to? Well, let's double it up. And it's going to modify the scale of our selected bone to modify to whatever scale we put in here. So you can go crazy with like 3, 3, 3, and he's got a gigantor head. Let's keep it in the realm of possibilities here. Wow, that is a big old noggin. I'd say I don't even have a big head, dude. This guy's got a big head. He's a little full of himself. And what we can also do to give ourselves a little bit of variable goodness here, we can promote the alpha to a variable, compile and save. You can alter this alpha in real time and just change it to boom, boom, boom. And the head is going to translate based on this alpha. And you can only apply it from 0 to 1. You can't go beyond 1. Like if we go in the alpha and we go to like 5, it's going to cap out at the 222 scale. You can't go above that. So use this alpha to go from the minimum to the maximum between a 0 and 1 value. I'm just going to keep this at 1 because that is fun. But we did have other examples. We had, in fact, let me exit out of this. We can go to our animation blueprint, Mixamo. And you know what we're going to do here? We're going to get from local to component space. Then we're going to transform, modify a bone. Boom, boom, boom. And it should be the same. It's gonna be the same. I'm going to alter the... Let's do something different. Instead of big head mode, why don't we do the whole right shoulder? And in the scale, instead of ignoring the scale mode, we're gonna replace the existing one. And let's make the whole right arm just freaking huge. Compile and save. Whoop! That is a big old arm. And remember, this works with the whole chain underneath it. So let's go in, and if you wanted to modify, like, let's just do spine 2. Let's see what spine 2 does. Oh, kind of looking like a Oompa Loompa or something. That would not be very comfortable to walk around in if your whole upper body was just like gigantic like that. I'm gonna do her a favor, and I'm not gonna have her walk around like that. I'm gonna have her head be the only thing that's changing. So now she's just got a big head. Boom. Now we can close that. And in the world, our two characters have big old noggins. They got big heads. Can't miss those headshots. But what do we do with our anim man? Because his anim graph is kind of nuts. If you've ever opened the advanced locomotion project, you'll see like all this is cached, and then it's brought up and layered and blended and all this. Well, it's kind of the same, to be honest, because all we're doing is applying a transform to a bone before we do the output pose. So we can just stretch this along, and we can get local to component. Haven't done this in a while. Then we can transform, modify a bone, and plug this in. We're gonna have to change our scale mode to replace existing, and whatever the head's called. I think this uses the same skeleton as our mannequin character, and this should work the same way. You just go ahead and change, modify that one bone, and he's got a big head too. Everyone's got a big head. There we go. So while we're in the game, automatically everyone's going to have a big old head, because that's what we set up in their animation graph by modifying the transform of the selected bone. And if getting a big head really doesn't interest you, we can make it a little more entertaining by doing it again. Before we go back to local space, we can go down here, plug that in, and instead of modifying the head, we can modify the head and something else, like the upper arm left, I guess. And now we got a big ol' left arm and a big ol' head, a big ol' noggin. What? We got that going on at the same time. We can plug in our alpha into both, and then when we change our alpha, our dude's either normal or he's like, yo, something's wrong. I'm getting big. If you wanted to go crazy, you could also replace the existing rotation. I don't know why you would ever do this. Why are you doing this to me? Maybe as it gets bigger, you want to change the position that it's in so that it doesn't like overlap something or anything like that. But you know what? I'm not gonna change the rotation. I'm down to test some physics actually. So let's ignore the rotation so that it stays at the same rotation before the bones were modified. And yeah, you can add as many transform modified bones as you want, so feel free to just absolutely ruin your character's life. I'm like big old crazy one-armed monstrosity man. Kind of reminds me of the guy from Resident Evil 4. I can't even remember his name. Resident Evil 4 bad guys. His name was like Kreidler, Crisis. This guy. Krauser. There we go. Krauser. Okay. So kind of like Krauser, where he's got like the crazy arm. Is it his left arm? It might be, actually. I think it was. Oh, I think it was his left arm. Turn into that monstrosity. And you could totally do that during gameplay if you had a way to lerp the alpha from 0 to 1 during gameplay. Obviously, you wouldn't want to affect his head if you were trying to emulate Krauser, but to each their own. So clearly my physics asset for my arms is not good. Not good. Let's check to see if like line traces still get the correct information. So we can do a line trace by channel whenever we press F, and we can do our cameras, world position, world location, I should say. And then we can get the forward vector, multiply by like 1,000. We can add vector plus vector. Ba-ba-ba. Let's do that. When we hit something, let's just get that bone name. Let's try to print that out. It should say head, right? Yeah, it should say head. Okay. So even though we're transforming the scale of the head in our animation graph, it still works for line traces. It'll still give us that data if we're trying to get headshots and things like that, which for this character, I mean, a headshot to the hair probably shouldn't kill her. It's gonna take a little more work. But yeah, I recommend tinkering with your physics asset if you're planning on doing physical animations and modifying the transforms, but other than that, looks pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our big head tutorial. Welcome back to the era of GoldenEye. I can't wait to see big heads in your projects so that we can be getting those dome shots. Make sure that it doesn't hit the hair though, because I would not want to get domed by getting my hair hit by something. Come on, that doesn't make any sense. I really hope you learned a useful tool while watching this video. That's kind of the goal of these videos, is to give you like another tool in your tool belt. If you did, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I make videos like this at least twice a week. Sometimes you get a special third bonus video. I should have a channel announcement coming out about maybe a Patreon and a Discord server, so hopefully some of you guys are interested in that and seeing more content in this sort of format where I'm here talking to you, watching the Unreal Engine, kind of messing around at the same time, because sometimes you have to experiment, find out what's going on in the engine. Not everyone knows everything about everything. I appreciate you watching all the way through, and it really helps out against the YouTube algorithm if you watch the video all the way through. I mean, that's one major way to help the YouTube channel grow. It's kind of in its infancy right now. I've been making videos for a couple months. I took a few months off there because of some family turmoil that happened, but back at it now. And we're all here to learn, you know? We're going to start this Discord community coming up. I'll put out an official announcement, and we're going to be there. We're going to be there helping each other out. We're going to get big heads. We're going to get big everything. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're going to get big big brain in here, okay? We're gonna get a whole bunch of people working together, helping each other out, working on their projects, because that's what needs to happen in order for us little guys to be successful out there against the major companies, the big old corporations. You know, luckily the Unreal Engine really gives us like a nice foothold, gives us like at least a chance to put out our own stuff, you know, come up with our own ideas and kind of just go out there and do our thing. So if I haven't said so already, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you know when videos come out at least twice a week. I'm working hard on the videos for you, for your entertainment and learning. If you want to see a video of a specific kind, feel free to leave a comment. I've already done a couple, like I made the Half-Life 2 gravity gun for someone that asked for it. I made a video about an easy way to save and load character variables in another video for another commenter, another subscriber. So I do answer your comments, like I do. I'm there. I'm like, yo, thank you so much for commenting. Well, I'm gonna go boot up my Nintendo 64 and I'm gonna get that big head mode. Not that I even have to anymore. I just have big heads here now. Well, everyone, it's time to put this video to a close. I think I've rambled on long enough. Thank you again. Seriously, this channel wouldn't be the same without you. Hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned for the next video on the channel. Goodbye.